Hello, I'm Rebecca Pigram, Public Information Officer for Rockingham County. Today we are joined with our Tax Administrator, Mr. Todd Hurst. Todd, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. We're here to talk about the 2024 tax revaluation that's happening in Rockingham County. The last time we sat down and talked about this, it was 1st of October of 2023, right when y'all were getting ready to dive into this whole project. But now, 3 or 4 months later, you know, you've actually had boots on the ground, you've seen progress, you've had appraisers out. So let's talk a little bit about where we are with this revaluation.
Since October, we have reviewed all the sales. We've been reviewing all of those for the rest of the year, calendar year 2023. We have also had our meetings with the Board of County Commissioners, getting the schedule of values approved with that.
Okay.
And the Pioneer Appraisal, the revaluation crew, they're finishing out their work in the field at the current time. And then we are planning on sending our notices by March 31.
By March 31.
Yeah, by March 31.
So that March 31 date, what can our residents know? What can they expect to get in the mail? Tell me a little bit about what's coming out on March 31st.
On March 31st, it will be a notice. It will be a revaluation notice, and it'll be telling them all about their new value, and they will have a spot on there where they can appeal their value if they feel the value is wrong. We just ask that they fill the form out and not just send it back in blank.
Gotcha.
And then by doing that, we will have the information that we need to look at it to see, you know, if we need to change the value, decrease it, increase it, we can do that.
Gotcha.
We will also have it online. We'll also have a spot online that they can go through and they can appeal their value online too. Also.
Okay, we'll get into the appeal process in a little bit, but just kind of to recap the last couple of months, you guys have started the project. You have had actual boots on the ground with Pioneer Appraisal, going out and appraising all the property, real property, commercial, industrial, all of those types of property, all those types of property in Rockingham County. That started about 1st of October. Now we're at the end of January. We're kind of wrapping that up. Pioneer Appraisal is finishing up those sections and the neighborhoods that they're working in. You're working with county commissioners to get those checked off, approved. What is that process like?
It is a step process to where we had to submit the schedule of values to them at the end of October. Then you have to have a public hearing so many days after. And then you have to have a approval date. Okay. And then after the approval date, which was December 4th, was the approval date, you have 30 days after that for anyone who wants to appeal the schedule of values. They can appeal it to the Property Tax Commission, but we didn't have anyone appeal, so the schedule is set.
Now, what's that schedule? Can you expand a little bit on what that schedule of value is?
The schedule of values is what we value all the property off the whole county. It deals with land rates, building rates, mobile home rates, you know, all different kind of rates you think about, from storage buildings to carports to garages, gazebos.
Gotcha.
You have a different rate for everything. And they study the information, they get with contractors, they get with people that sell the buildings to get those rates, and then they're looking at sales that way to decide on the rates.
The actual value.
The actual value.
The property value.
This year, we did a little different than we normally do.
Okay.
Being the market was the way it was, we got approval through the commissioners to do a variance, which is a low and a high rate for each range in case due to the market, the way it's drastically changed. So if the market did increase, we could, and if it decreased, we'd have leeway to decrease the rate some.
Gotcha.
And we felt it would be the best thing to do, you know, and they did too.
Gotcha.
So it's worked out.
So it's a little bit of flex room.
Yes.
Because the last time we talked, I remember you making a comment that, you know, something could happen with the market. We get this all wrapped up pretty in a bow, and then something happens in the market and it flips. And then we have to do it all over again. So it sounds like this little bit of flex space, flex high and low that the commissioners offered gives you some room in case that does happen.
It does. And it's the first time ever for the county.
Okay.
But I really feel it's a good thing.
Awesome.
Because the Pioneer Appraisal, the owner, Gary Pioneer, suggested it.
Okay.
And a lot of other counties have done it in the state, and they feel that in the market it's just what you need to do because
it's kind of volatile.
It is because
that's
if it changed,
that's such a strong word.
Yes,
but
it is because when you're out there and you think about it, it's like now if the market changed as of January 1, there's nothing I can do until the next reval.
Right.
So, but where we can look at the sales, so if the sales did change in November and December and we saw them drop, we have leeway to change it. But if we had one set rate, we couldn't do it.
Gotcha.
So that's why we waited a little later this year. The commissioners want us to wait a little later to go through before we send out the notices in the end of March to work the market a little more.
Gotcha. Just to make sure that we've got some wiggle room,
right.
that we weren't jumping ahead of things, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's go back just a little bit. You said that people can get their tax rate cards. Is that what's coming out on the March 31st?
The revaluation notices will come out on the 31st, and then also the property cards will be updated on our website then.
Okay.
I haven't, and we will have a 2024 revaluation site on the web
Okay.
opened up then. I haven't opened it up now because I don't want to mislead anyone,
Sure.
you know, when they see a 23 card there and they're thinking it's their value and it's not.
Gotcha.
So I will update it, you know, with the videos, and I will have the place on there where you can appeal online. Some people are tech savvy, some are not, so
Gotcha.
it's both ways.
Okay, so is there any other information that you need or you want to share with the general public about where we're at right now with the reappraisal process?
Yes, a thing very important that a lot of people ask, are there any exemptions or exclusions out there offered?
Okay.
So there are
Okay.
several that are offered. There's an exclusion called the homestead exclusion, OA exclusion. It's for anyone that's 65 or older and totally disabled. They can apply for an exemption if their income is less than, I always say it monthly, $3,058 a month.
Okay.
They can look at getting their taxes reduced in half.
Wow.
To help them during this time. It's based on an acre. I won't get into a lot of that because I could be here all day talking, but you know,
and each is very specific.
Each is specific, and it's based on husband and wife income. And if it was just a single lady and she had remarried and the house was just in her name, it'd still be based off of both incomes.
Okay.
Same way if it was a man and he had remarried and the home was in his name, it'd be based off of both incomes.
Okay.
Children are not included in that.
Okay.
So if any of their children had moved back here from somewhere, you know, and we're living with them, it's not included. And then also the time to apply is from January 1 to June 1
Okay.
on that.
Now, where can folks go to find out more information? Because like we said, it's kind of in-depth. So where can folks go to find out about that specific reduction or
The information,
assistance?
it'll be on our website.
Okay.
There's a disabled vet exclusion that's offered, and it's $45,000, no income limit on that.
Okay, wow.
And it's based on, you have to be 100% totally disabled veteran.
Okay.
And then it does carry, the spouse can get the exemption as long as they don't remarry.
Okay, that makes sense. So just to recap, there are a couple of exclusions, exemptions, I guess you could say.
Yes.
Folks who are 65 years or older and 100% disabled. It's based off of income, so there's some leeway there. Things kind of change. But then there's also 100% disabled veterans, no income cap, gets $45,000 off of
Yes.
their property taxes.
Yes.
Okay, so there's some wiggle room there if folks need assistance with that. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes, you're welcome. We wanna let everyone know that in our department, you know, they're there.
Yeah.
And we want everyone to know, especially in this market, if someone needs to apply for it, it's there.
Okay.
You know, apply for it. And it's great because it does help out, you know, like in this time. I know how it is myself, consider myself on a fixed income. But, you know, it's a great thing out there. And two, there's no deferments on it. There's no back taxes on it. If the couple decided married couple, and they were approved, decided they wanted to move into an apartment, the exemption would just go off of the property. It wouldn't be any back taxes or anything.
Oh, that's good. All right, Todd, thank you so much. And if you at home have any sort of event that you would like Todd to speak at, whether it be a senior center or council board, any sort of public event that you would like Todd to speak at, he's a wealth of knowledge. And we're trying to get this information out to our residents. So I invite you to reach out to Todd. We'll give you his contact information in a little bit.
Yes.
But I invite you to invite Todd to speak to your community. He's a wealth of knowledge, I promise. Okay, so let's dive in a little bit into why we do this, how often we do this, just that kind of list of why this is important in Rockingham County, okay? So let's start from the basics. What is the revaluation? What is this reappraisal that we're doing here in 2024?
Okay. Revaluation or reappraisal is resetting all of the values to the current market value based from the last reappraisal in 2019. And it does not include personal property and such as machinery and equipment. That's valued every year. And this does include, far as the residential market, it includes commercial, industrial, and residential properties.
So that means houses, businesses, anything along those, like the real property, like if you go into a house, like what the house is valued at, what the business is valued at?
Yes, it would be what what is fixed to land, as you consider it with the real.
Gotcha.
The building would be the real part.
Okay.
In components, the desk, all of those, ad machines, all that is the personal.
Gotcha.
Dwellings on it. So what we do is we have to go through and revalue all of the fixed
to the land. So in a broader sense, I know there's a lot of farmland here. You know, we look at the value of the barn, not of the tractor inside the barn.
Right.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. So how often does this revaluation occur?
Since 1920, North Carolina counties have responsibility of doing a reappraisal at least every 8 years.
Okay.
So there are 100 counties out there in our state.
Yep.
So we were on an 8-year reval cycle due to the market. So now we have gone to we had to go to a 5-year based on the sales ratio.
Okay, so now that we know how often this occurs or why we're doing it early here in Rockingham County, what is the importance of this revaluation? Why are we doing this here in Rockingham County now?
All properties change in value. In many cases, if the property is maintained, the normal trend will be for an increase in value between reappraisals. However, different locations, there's different factors that can, be either or with that. That's why it is so important during this tax assessment to do the different areas and to look at the, conditions of the homes where you can change them during this time to make sure that you have the correct values on them during this process, and it helps equalizes the valuation between properties in the market.
Okay, Todd, so who conducts this reappraisal, revaluation? Who is it that's coming in Rockingham County to do this for us?
The 2024 real property reappraisal is being conducted by a private contractor, Pioneer Appraisal.
Okay.
And the appraisers they have are real property ad valorem tax appraiser certified by the North Carolina Department of Revenue.
Okay.
And even though they're doing the reappraisal, it is my responsibility as tax assessor to look over the work that they do.
Absolutely.
In the end.
Gotcha.
So
they're coming in, this third party's coming in to value the property values that we have in Rockingham County. They have no ties. They're here to do a job. They're professionals at what they do. And they're just here to make sure that we are at that 100% level, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so how is this reappraisal done? Like let's talk through the process a little bit about the reappraisal, revaluation.
For every piece of property in Rockingham County, there's a property card that tells all about the features of that property. Size, location, quality of construction, topography, age, and general condition are noted on the property card. Since the last reappraisal of property in 2019, Pioneer Appraisal will review the property in the county, comparing the data on the record to data observed at the property, making the changes where appropriate in there. They track and analyze all the sales data of all property sold since the last reappraisal. They study rental markets along with building costs, and also they look at that's how they build our valuation tables there. Now you can still review your 2023 property card online. And again, you know, as we did our general in the beginning, the 2024 will be available, cards will be available out there when we mail out our notices by March 31, 2024.
Gotcha.
Rockingham County, just a little general information.
Okay.
There's over 500 neighborhoods in Rockingham County.
That's a lot.
So each one of those have to be individually priced based on that area.
Gotcha. Okay, so Todd, we've had a lot of fluctuation in the last couple of years with these housing markets. The big question that everybody wants to know, what kind of change can we expect to see on our new property cards come March 31st, 2024?
There is no set percentage change on property. All property values are subject to change according to corrections that were made during review. Most property values will increase, some could decrease based on the maintenance of the property. The tax value can change for many reasons other than the market. If the change seems higher and lower than expected, the change may be due to a correction of information that resulted from a review of the property.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. Now, how will these new assessments, these changes that are coming about, how will that affect our tax bill when it comes time to pay our taxes in January? What kind of effect will that have?
Each year, the Board of County Commissioners, City and Town Councils adopt a budget and a tax rate. The tax rate is determined by the budget needs and the assessed value of property in their jurisdiction. These rates are set by July 1, 2024. So even though we mail out the notices by March 31, the tax rate more than likely will not be set by then.
Okay.
So then they normally meet May to June, you know, and decide on the
budget.
On the budget. So that's why I'm going around to the different city councils, town councils, commissioners meetings, and have met, letting them know, you know, the effect of the market.
So when will these new assessments go into effect?
The new assessments became effective actually January 1 of 2024.
Okay.
Of this year.
So now?
Now.
Okay.
They're in effect now. But the commissioners wanted us to wait till the end of March to mail out the notices. So that way it gives us time to monitor the sales for the rest of the year from the last time we met to see if there were any changes in the market.
Gotcha.
To whereas if we needed to change anything. So
gotcha.
This gives us
that wiggle
room because these rates are set until our next revaluation.
Yes. So just for my better understanding, we met back in October and we were said that, you know, these assessments will go into effect January 1, but we still had October, November, December to monitor that changing in the housing markets, and we didn't know where that was going to go. So our commissioners had the foresight to say, hey, you know, that's 3 whole months that something could change in our market. So it gives us a little bit of that wiggle room that we talked about earlier, just in case something changed, the bottom fell out, it skyrocketed. It gave us some wiggle room so we didn't have to redo all of this as soon as, you know, January 1 hit in case something happened.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
It was a really good thing.
Good.
That we done this time. It makes our process a little longer, but I feel better because of where being, you know, a new administrator, even though I've worked here, I've been here for 17 years in April, still we're going to get a better product.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is what we want.
Absolutely.
Because if it was what was needed.
So let's talk a little bit about the accuracy of these appraisals. How can we determine if the appraisal is correct?
The tax office appraises property en masse. So fluctuations are expected.
Okay.
There are over 55,000 parcels in Rockingham County. You know, as we've mentioned earlier, we're constantly correcting our data on sales and other building permits and reviews that we do in the field. Tax office can make an error. I tell people all the time.
You're human.
We're human. We'll go find changes that property owners have not reported as well. Something we've done and we've made a mistake. It's never nothing intentional. If we've made it, we'll fix it. You know, that's the way we do our work. There is no one perfect value for all of real estate. All appraisals are opinions, whether are done by a tax appraiser or by a certified fee appraiser. The appraisal value should be close to the amount you would expect your value to sell your property for in 2024. And then first, you have to consider the value in relation to your neighborhood. Does the appraised value appear to be close to the price you would reasonably consider reasonable if you were to list your property for sale? If so, the appraisal's correct. That's why there's so many different neighborhoods and so many different areas, because all of them.
You said 500.
That's over 500. So when you value in property, you value the neighborhood. It doesn't matter. Well, I tell everybody, everybody's treated the same. Doesn't matter if it's the nicest house in the whole county to if it's a home that needs repair. It doesn't matter. They're all situated into neighborhoods based on the quality build and the construction of the home.
So we've got a lot of information. Some changes might be coming. Some properties could increase, decrease, whatever it may be. What do we do if we disagree with the changes that we might see?
All property owners have the right to appeal their value.
Okay.
If the value is higher or lower based on what they feel. Instructions for appealing your 2024 value will be on the notice of change of value, which will be mailed out by March 31 of 2024.
Okay.
And also there will be a place on our online website to appeal, where you can appeal the value. If we cannot come to an agreement on the property, there is the next step, which is the Board of Equalization and Review. That we would go to that, and then they would hear the case.
So we know the last couple of years has been up and down, up and down. You know, do you buy, do you sell? What's the property value? Where are we going? The housing market's been kind of crazy. Where do we stand right now? As of, the 1st of 2024, where does Rockingham County stand with the housing market?
The housing market in the current times is the strongest I've ever seen here in the county. Sales prices exceed market value the majority of the time. Could the market change? Yes, it could. We need to remember also that all our real estate is local. It's not based in other counties in North Carolina or other states are not the same as we are here in Rockingham County.
Right.
So there are areas in North Carolina which are experiencing more growth than we are here. So the county tax office and Pioneer Appraisal will continue to monitor conditions. Even though we've set our rates January 1, we're still monitoring the sales that we've looked through and working them to make sure that we base our values off of a true sale, which means it was between a willing buyer and seller. It has to be a true sale in an open market, not a foreclosure, not related sales, and that's how we base our rates.
So two very people that don't have ties for each other.
Right.
Right. Buying and selling. All right, Todd, you've given us a wealth of knowledge today. Just an update of where we are since we've talked in October, just where we're at, why we're doing this, what's going on in Rockingham County. So thank you so much for your time. If there's any member of the public that's got questions, there's a couple places that they can call. So with this reevaluation, there's a exemption number. What number is that people can reach out? It's the elderly with a reduced income or disabled veterans. What's that number that people can reach out to?
They can reach out to Robin Jones.
Okay.
And her number is 336-342-8250.
Perfect. If people don't agree, I know our tax cards come out at the end of March. If people don't agree with what that value looks like, where can they go to appeal? Because everybody has an opportunity to appeal.
They can appeal online. It'll be at our website, www.myrockingham.county.nc.tax.com.
Perfect. And you also said that it's going to be a mailing address to send in a physical appeal form is going to be on that mailer, correct?
Yes, yes.
Perfect.
There will be the address
So-
on the mailer where to send the form back there.
Perfect. All right. Well, again, thank you so much, Todd, for your time today. You've given us so much information. If you at home have any questions about what we've talked about here with this reappraisal or anything that goes on in Rockingham County, feel free to reach out to me, Rebecca Pigram, your Public Information Officer. You can reach me at 336-589-0967.